On everyone, the Los Angeles Lakers absolutely did their thing this offseason, and it's not even over, right? Lakers still have two open spots. There's a lot of talks about them maybe bringing back Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley, or maybe one of those two. They're looking for another big man. Maybe the Lakers can snag a big man in free agency. Does a player like Christian Wood, not really having offers and the money drying up, does he say, hey, let me get a prove-it deal with the Lakers? That would be beautiful. Mason Plumlee, does he end up going back to the Clippers? Does another team take a flyer on him? Or does he say, hey, let me go take the minimum for the Lakers? Again, the well is really drying up when it comes to money and teams that actually can pay players that are left. And just the talent pool is very limited for those types of players. But regardless, whatever happens with those last spots, the Lakers did their thing. They added some really nice talent, really nice pieces to kind of round out the roster, but they also kept the core, right? D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura all returned, and the Lakers got all three of them for incredibly reasonable prices, right? D'Angelo Russell, they were able to get him for $18.5 million a year. That was great. Austin Reeves, he ended up signing the max that the Lakers could offer, not the max that another team could offer, the max that the Lakers could offer at 4 years, $56 million. And then Rui Hachimura is getting about $17 million a year. I would have liked him around $15 million, but why split hairs? Glad the Lakers were able to get Rui back, and you want him for the long term, right? This is the guy that you really believe in if you're the Lakers. And the beauty is the Lakers have so much versatility now. It really is. It's such a beautiful thing. And very likely this will be the starting unit. The five that you see on the floor. D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis. But the beauty of this roster is you can make an argument for several guys. Now, I do think Rui will likely start, given that the Lakers just gave him a $17 million a year contract. Same thing with D'Angelo Russell. There are some talks about D'Angelo Russell is the favorite to start leading into training camp. Really, I don't see Gabe Vincent starting over D'Lo. Now, the beauty is you could do interchangeable lineups, right? So, certain matchups, maybe you go D'Lo and Vincent, or D'Lo and Reeves, or Brown, or whatever, right? It's nice to have the flexibility that they have. It's nice to have the switchability in the starting lineup as well as the bench role. And correction, not Brown, I meant Prince. Prince at the two guard with his 6'7" size, or Max Christie, right? He's another one. But most likely this is the starting unit, and I love it, right? Got a nice balance, nice scoring. There is a little concern about Rui guarding sort of the twitchier type of small forwards in the league, right? He's had his struggles in that department, guarding the Mikal Bridges of the world. But I do think that he really made some strides defensively when he came over to the Lakers, because that was a big concern with Rui. A big concern with Rui was how is his defense going to be, especially with a team like the Lakers and a coach like Darvin Ham that emphasizes defense. And they ultimately brought him in, and he was great. He actually was. He had his moments here and there, but for the most part, he was much better than he ever was for the Washington Wizards. So that really helps. But again, let's say this is the starting five. You still have an argument for several guys. I mean, Gabe Vincent, defensively, you can make a real argument for, right? Taurean Prince could easily be our starting three. I think the small forward position is more debatable than anything else. And the beauty is that when LeBron inevitably misses games, right? He's very likely going to miss 30 plus games this year. You don't have that concern of who takes his spot, right? You could just slide Rui over to the 4, put Jared Vanderbilt at the 3, or Taurean Prince, or Cam Reddish, or you could even just go a bigger lineup and go Jackson Hayes at the 5 with Anthony Davis at the 4. You got so many interchangeable lineups, and you also can match certain teams, right? So for example, if you're playing Minnesota, you could go Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis in the starting unit, right? To kind of just match up to the size of the Timberwolves. You also could go if you're playing the Warriors, right? And they have their smaller lineup. You could go in certain sets and go with like I said, like an Austin Reeves, a Torian Prince, a Jared Vanderbilt, a LeBron James, and an Anthony Davis. Or even off the bench, like say with none of them, you could go with this unit, right? Like this would be great. And you got size and you got switchability and you got so much talent front to back. All of these guys are just basketball players. All of these guys are guys that play both sides of the ball. Like you don't have to worry about any of these guys. Like Gabe Vincent plays both sides of the ball. Cam Reddish can play both sides of the ball. Torian Prince plays both sides of the ball. Jared Vanderbilt, he's been doing nothing but working on his corner three. I mean, there's already video and pictures of him just doing drills of just shooting the corner three 1,000 times. And that's good. If he can develop that corner three, watch out, right? Now he's a two-way guy. Jackson Hayes, he's a guy that can play both sides of the ball. And this isn't even counting the young bucks, right? I haven't even mentioned Shafino, who could be a two-way guy. Lewis, a lot of people are really high on Lewis and believe that he could be already an NBA-ready two-way guy. Max Christie, in my opinion, is an NBA-ready two-way guy, at least defensively. Max Christie might be our best one-on-one defender on this roster, which is crazy to think because he's just turned 20, right? And that's the beauty. The toughest thing is going to be getting all these guys minutes, right? That's going to be the biggest challenge for Darvin Ham and the coaching staff, right? Having a nice balance, kind of, testing lineups, right? Like, and that's why you play an 82-game season, right? So you can test different lineups, right? Like, what is a lineup of like Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, Torian Prince, and, Rui or Reeves or LeBron, or maybe even LeBron. Like, right? Like, could you run a lineup like just a really big lineup with like LeBron at the point, Prince at the 2, Vando at the 3, maybe Rui at the 4, and AD or Jackson Hayes at the 5? I mean, come on. I've just sitting here spitballing, I've came up with 15 different possible different configurations of what this roster could look like, different sets, different lineups, and that's what makes this so exciting, right? Like, there are a lot of teams that can go big or can go small, but you kind of know what to expect. It's like the lineups are still relatively the same, right? Like, you see teams like even Denver. They really only had like 6-7 guys, right? And like their small ball lineup was basically everybody except the same guys, just without Jokic, and they just moved Aaron Gordon to the 5, right? Well, now you look at the Lakers and it's like they have like 5 different variations of that. You could go, like, if you wanted to go small ball, Cam Reddish with his like 7'1" wingspan, he's like 6'8", you could play him at the 5. You could play, we've seen Rui play the 5. Right? We've seen LeBron play the 5. Like, all of these guys are more than capable of playing small ball 5, right? Like, I mean, hell, if you're playing the Warriors and Draymond's at the 5, you could even go like Vanderbilt or Prince, right? Because, I mean, they're the same size. Like, it gives you so much flexibility. You got big lineups, you got small lineups, you got guard lineups, and it's not like a small guard lineup, right? Like so many people were just upset and bothered by the 3-guard lineups or 4-guard lineups that the Lakers put out, right? But there's a big difference between like Patrick Beverley, Dennis Schroeder, Kendrick Nunn, and Austin Reeves, where like 3 of those 4 guards are all 6 foot, right? Or 6'1". And then you have Reeves at 6'5". No, the smallest guy on the Lakers, literally, the smallest guy on the Lakers is Gabe Vincent at 6'3", 200 pounds. So even he's got good size for a guard, for like a point guard level guy, right? Like, so you look at that and then you just go, man, like, look at this roster we are big. Like, we gave teams like the Warriors and the Grizzlies trouble earlier. Imagine what we're going to do to these teams now with all this size and switchability and just change up, right? And now you could go, like I said, those 3-4 guard lineups, but you could do it with a bunch of 6'5 plus. Like, that's what made Denver's 3, sometimes 4 guard lineups so effective, right? Like, as much as people like to criticize the Lakers for playing, like, every team in the league plays 3 guard lineups. All of them, right? So, and most of them even play like 4 guard lineups at the time. But again, there's a difference between 3 6-foot guards and then 3 6'5" to 6'6" guards. Like, that's just a big, big difference. And that's an advantage that the Lakers have as well. But more than anything, I'm just glad the Lakers were able to keep the roster. We're able to keep the core guys, right? Because we had success. And I know a lot of people are like low on D'Angelo Russell right now, but come on, the guy gave you 17 points on 50% from the field, 43% from 3. He had a great first 2 rounds. We don't even get to the conference finals if it isn't for D'Angelo Russell. Like, people forget D'Angelo Russell literally saved us. There's a video that you can find on the internet. I believe I even posted it on this channel as a short, where Darvin Ham and the Lakers were thanking D'Angelo Russell for literally saving the season. Darvin Ham himself said, man, where would we be without D'Angelo Russell? Like, he saved the season, boys. Like, and he did. Like, he had a great series against the Warriors and had some really big moments in the big games and some great third quarters. And so the guy is fine, right? It sucked that he disappeared in the Denver series, but so did everybody, right? Like, where was half the roster? Like, even LeBron disappeared at times in that series, and that dude's never really disappeared. Like, it was just a bad series. And you brought back the core where we can now build some continuity, build some just momentum, have a understanding. We saw it so many times. How many times did you see D'Angelo Russell turn the ball over, or LeBron turn the ball over, or Reeves turn the ball over? Not because they made a bad play, but just because of lack of communication or lack of just chemistry, right? I thought the guy was going to be over here, and instead he was over there. Like, that will come with understanding. You got to remember, this roster last season didn't even play 10 games together going into the playoffs. They didn't play 10 games full together. Because you got to remember, LeBron missed most of those games. Anthony Davis missed a few, and D'Lo missed several. And it's not even counting Mo Bamba. I mean, to be fair, even with Mo Bamba, but I don't think he was as big of an impact as some people think he would have been. But still, I love that we kept the core. I love that we trimmed around the edges. And you just look at the Lakers roster, and it's just like, there's just so much interchangeable pieces. The Lakers, nobody on this roster should be playing over 30 minutes. Nobody, right? Everybody should be at 30 minutes or less on the season. That's why you have this depth. That's why you have so much talent. So that way you can get into the playoffs healthy and ready to go. And I'm pumped. I'm excited. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of the Lakers' interchangeability, right? Like, what do you think of the different lineups? What kind of like lineups and sets would you like to see the Lakers play? Would you like to see like a weird random lineup, or is there anything specific that you're like, oh man, I want to see these 2 guys, or these 5 guys, or these 3 with LeBron and AD? Like, let's have some fun. Let's explore some different interchangeable lineups down in the comment section below. So let me know. Love to hear it.